guys, Satya here in Singapore, and as always, back on the Night Owl podcast. And this is something I really got to talk about, you guys. I've talked about seeing is believing and believing is seeing, but let's talk about that a little bit more in detail because we come from a generation that needs signs. We need signs for everything, big flashing neon signs to tell us it's going to be okay. This is the way to go. Rerouting our GPS. Like, we need the signs. We need something that tells us it's going to be okay. We need something to tell us that, you know what, we're on the right path, that we are heading in the right direction, that we picked the right job, the right people, the right, house. We need signs for all of these things. But there was a time in our history as a people where we didn't have the signs, where we had to wait for snail mail to come, where it was like a telegram, or maybe it was a, Pony Express. We had no choice but to be patient at one time. But the smaller the world gets, the faster we expect everything to happen. But that's still not real. It's still divine timing. So at what point do we stop looking for signs to tell us that we're on the right path, to tell us that it's going to be okay? And at what point do we believe everything is going to be okay and we focus on the things that we can control in the meantime? Like the things of utmost importance, the things that have a deadline looming in the process. I know for a fact from the many, many conversations I've had over the years that for men, their work needs to be going very, very well in order for them to focus on their relationships. I know for women, the relationship needs to be steady in order for them to be able to concentrate on their work. So with those two dynamics at play, there's a lot going on. And right now, we can't spend all our money on tarot card readings, psychic readings. We can't spend all of our time scrolling through social media hoping for the right quote to pop up to give us a feeling of, it's gonna be all right. I don't need to worry about this. It's in divine timing. God has a plan, like all those things. At some point, we need to trust and let go. But we don't do that. I'm one of them. There are moments where I'm in a panic and I'm worried because something happened out of left field and I wasn't ready for it and it caught me off guard. It was a gut punch of some sort and I was winded in the moment, and suddenly I'm like frantically grasping at straws looking for some kind of a sign that says, okay, it's not as bad as it looks. It's not as bad as my imagination makes it out to be. There are moments that I have of clarity thinking, okay, well, this is not about me. It's about the other person. It's about whether or not they have everything going right in their world. Maybe, they feel like they revealed too much, or maybe they feel like, they started opening up and they're scared because they've never done this before. Counseling is not the kind of thing they want to do. Maybe it's a situation where they find that they're afraid that it will get back to somebody else. They're afraid that it could be used against them in some form, right? It could be something to the effect of they wrote a comment that was deep to them and they felt like they gave a piece of themselves, and then suddenly they want to take it back, almost like buyer's remorse because, oh my gosh, I've said too much. I know I've done those things too. I've seen those things done to me. I have seen both sides of this, and I'm telling you, at what point do you stop looking for confirmation that you're doing the right things? And at what point do you revel in the fact that you got something done, that whatever it was that you did felt good in the moment and that was okay? At what point do you believe that it will be all right, but you have other things to focus on, so you focus on those things free and clear? Because we have so much information at our fingertips, at what point does it become information overload? At what point does it become one of those things where you need a fix, right? You need to go to social media and you need to check up on people. I've seen so many times that, people will come to me and say, you know what, I can't help it. I just need to check his phone. I just need to check his phone. I just need to make sure he is where he says he is and he's doing what he says he's going to do. But guess what? I also know that you won't stop looking until you get confirmation of the thing you're looking for, which means you're not actually looking for proof that he did or didn't do something. You're looking to prove yourself right. This nagging feeling you have in the pit of your stomach, you're looking for confirmation of the nagging feeling, not confirmation of whether the fact the person is good or not. I've had situations where people are kind of trying to come back from infidelity. And because they were the ones who stepped out, they're trying their best to prove to their spouse that, you know what, it was a one-time thing. I'm really, really sorry. I should have said something. I should have asked you for what I needed instead of going somewhere else. But there's also a portion of it where they didn't feel comfortable enough to talk about those things at some point. So that's why they felt more comfortable elsewhere. But the burden actually sits on the shoulders of the person who was cheated on, because they have to learn to trust you all over again. They need to learn to, take at face value everything that you're saying all over again, because at one point it was a lie and you did it, without changing your face or whatever. You did it straight to their face with no like guilt or shame or remorse covering your expression, and they need to learn to trust you again. At what point do they stop worrying and stop replaying scenarios or letting their imagination run away with them and trust that this time will be different? At what point do they put aside their fears and trust that, you know what, I'm giving you a second chance and that should be enough for you to know not to screw up, and I'm going to allow you to prove to me that you really are in this with me? At what point do you stop checking behind them, asking them 1,000 questions, calling to check in to make sure that they can tell you exactly where they are because you got GPS on the phone or whatever, Find My Phone app, all of that? At what point do you stop looking into their social media and their DMs to see what it is that they're saying, who they're saying it to, what is it supposed to mean, who is this person actually, what is the relationship? Like, when do you stop driving yourself insane? When do you start trusting what you see for what it is at the moment without attaching a story and a meaning and a value behind everything that's going on? I get it. We're afraid of screwing up. We're afraid of wasting time. We're afraid of being exposed. Let's put it the way it is, yeah? We're afraid of being exposed. But what is the worst that could happen? Honestly, for me, personally, because I hold love and connection number one as my number one human need in any situation, the worst thing I could be is kinda there. Whether you're the love of my life or not, whether you're the right person for me in business or not, if I'm not 100% there and don't put in 100% effort for you, I am not teaching you that I'm dependable. Because guess what? You're probably worried that I might not be the right person either. So if you're already going to be like half in, half out, the worst thing I can do is be half in, half out with you. And then we don't really get to know each other. We don't really get to see that, there are people out there that are like the fairy tales. There are people out there who are quite chivalrous and do take loyalty and love and connection, business, respect, reputation, all of those things into consideration when we become friends with people. So if I'm not going to be completely there, I'm doing you a disservice and I'm self-sabotaging. If I'm going to expect you to be exactly like everybody else I've ever encountered, I am not healed, number one, and I am not allowing you to be yourself either, because I've already painted you with the same colors I painted somebody else, and that's not okay. The best thing that I can tell you guys is be who you are in front of the person who happens to be in front of you at that moment, whatever moment that is, at the dinner table, out at a restaurant with your friends, in the club. Be who you are. Do what it is in your heart to do, and be there fully present. And if they don't like you, they don't like you. And if they love you, they love you. And if they have had enough, they've had enough, and it's okay. Stop looking for confirmation. Stop looking for signs. And as much as I'm telling you this, I'm reminding myself, it will be all right. And if it's not all right yet, it's not done yet. Things will work out if you allow them to. If you continue manipulating the situation, yeah, of course, it's going to take way longer. But if you allow things to fall into place, because while you do hold that relationship in high regard, you still have your health to take care of, you have your money to take care of, you have your responsibilities to take care of, you have your work to take care of. There's plenty of other things you could be doing to pass the time. The number one question I used to ask myself is, yeah, sure, let it be and give it time. But what the fuck do I do in the meantime? What the hell do I do while I'm passing time? How do I occupy my time? And after years and years of experimenting and failing miserably, I finally came to this one conclusion that helps me. Get busy, like full body busy. Go work out. Go create something with your hands, whether it's music or art, whatever. Go color something. Go have a new conversation with someone completely random. Go enjoy nature. Engage all of your senses somehow. Sometimes you need something completely different from the thing you're worrying about so you can allow the answer to settle. You can allow the answer to come to you. I can't tell you how many times I've been worried about a situation at home, and then I've been dreading having conversation with the client because my mind isn't quite where it needs to be, but I made the decision. They've paid me already. I need to show up to this meeting, and I have the meeting, and as I'm telling them, what I would advise them to do in whatever situation they find themselves in, I find the answer from my own situation come out of my damn mouth. Sometimes I need to focus on someone else in order for me to kind of learn that, okay, you know what? I know what I need to do. It's just a matter of doing it now. Sometimes when I'm watching a movie, because I'm trying to distract myself, I will find the answer in the movie in a random dialogue. I will find the answer in a random snippet from a song. The lyrics kind of speak to me at some point. I will have a random epiphany while I'm drawing. And no, I can't draw for peanuts, but you know what I mean, tracing and coloring and stuff like that. When I'm creating, because I finally allow my subconscious to work instead of my active imagination driving me nuts. I'm asking you guys to consider this. Sometimes you need to learn to tell yourself, it's going to be fine. Whatever it is, it's going to be fine. It's going to be for my best interests. If this person is being rerouted in a different direction and they're not supposed to be with me, it's for my best interest. And yes, I'm going to mourn the loss of this person at some point. But for now, I need to keep on going. There are other things I need to focus on. As difficult as it may be, as pulled as I may be to go check social media and ask tarot card readers and look for confirmation in posts and symbols and whatever else, I know I need to let it be in order for it to work out. Because the more I put my foot in it, the more entangled it becomes, the more convoluted the process becomes, the more of a delay I'm creating. And let's think about this in the form of law of attraction, shall we? If I know I want to be married at some point, right? And I've asked the universe, please send me someone worthy of me that might be able to give me the kind of marriage that I've in my mind created as a good balance of co-regulation, where he has space, I have space, we have space together, and we understand the spaces, right? That would be ideal. It would be great, I think. I think it'd be really, really healthy too. But if every person I meet, I try to push into that mold and they suddenly don't fit, and suddenly I'm adjusting what my mold is, I'm telling the universe a different thing. So imagine it this way. I put in an order at a restaurant. I'm asking for chicken pasta or whatever. I don't know, something, right? A pasta. Maybe it's an Alfredo, a garlic Alfredo. I love garlic Alfredo. I love making garlic Alfredo. So I'm asking for a garlic Alfredo. And before the waiter gets halfway to the kitchen, I call him back and say, you know what though? There was that one time that I had garlic Alfredo. It didn't work out really well because I don't think the chef made it the way I would make it. I think they used Parmesan. So instead, let me go with the Pomodoro instead. And so I send him back to the kitchen. And again, before he gets to the kitchen, I'm reminiscing and I'm letting my imagination run away with me. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, maybe not a cream, maybe not a pasta, maybe I need a soup. Let's go with the Zuppa Toscana instead. And I know I can make it at home, but you know what? It'd be nice for someone else to make it for me because I have this craving for Olive Garden. Maybe you can do this for me. And again, before he gets to the kitchen, I'm going to add something else to it. So if you imagine, he hasn't gotten to the kitchen yet to give them the order. But I've changed my mind 3-4 times. I've talked myself out of what I wanted a couple of times because I let my imagination run away with me. And so what happens? The kitchen can't get started on my damn order until I know what the hell I want, and I stick to it. And then at that point, I need to let it go because the more I obsess about it, the more I'm going to change my mind and go back and forth and talk about whether I deserve it or whether I don't deserve it, or will I fuck it up or not, or will it end up like every other relationship I've ever been in? Like, I need to stop. I need to stop. I need to get out of my head. And I need to get into a different situation so I can allow it to be processed. Which is why the first thing we do is we order when we get to a restaurant, we let it go, they go to the kitchen, they do their thing, and then we start talking about other stuff. We enjoy the wine in front of us and we enjoy the company in front of us and we do other things. We're not constantly obsessing about whether they're spitting in the food or not, right? We let it be. We let it go. We trust that it will be okay. We trust until it comes to us and we have something to look at and understand and observe and take in. So at what point do you stop looking for signs and you start telling yourself, I trust it's going to be all right. And if it doesn't quite work out the way I want it to, it means it's not for me. And maybe it's not for me right now. It may be for me later. But I need to trust and tell myself to be patient. I used to get pissed off every time I got the temperance card. Anytime I looked at tarot. Oh my God, I got the temperance card for years and years and years, and I friggin' hate it because it means Be patient. And while I know that patience is maybe possibly the greatest virtue of all time, it's not my favorite. I have a tough time with it. Because what do I do while I'm being patient? I have to be doing something, because if I'm looking at the clock while I'm waiting for the clock to move 5 minutes, it's going to drive me nuts. It's going to be the longest 5 minutes I've ever spent in my life. But in that regard, it's because I'm focusing on the problem rather than the other things that I have that need my attention. Because there are other things. There are always other things that need my attention. So I'm asking one more time. When do you stop looking for signs of confirmation? And when do you allow the process to be what it is, let it go and trust? As in, you tell yourself, I did what I could. There's nothing else. I gotta let go. So I would love to hear your comments about this. Drop them in the comments below. Your questions, your criticism, whatever. Your experiences. I would love to hear your experiences. Because I gave you a ton of examples, and I'm hoping one of them hit at least. And the point being that we haven't become the most patient people because things are faster now. We used to have to wait for a dot matrix printer to take like 10 minutes to print out a page, one page. And they would tear it off the printer without tearing the paper, and pulling the paper offline or whatever. There was a lot that went into what we do now. We take for granted laser jets, right? Water jets, like all of that. Everything can be done so quickly. We've lost our ability to be patient. And even then, patience is like, oh, I see the message has been delivered because there's 2 tick marks, but where's the blue? Oh, the blue is there, but where is the message? You haven't written me back. What the fuck is going on? So, it's possible that you've done all that you can. And once you've done all that you can, you have to let go. You can't keep obsessing about it. You can't keep looking for confirmation, because guess what? That's a short-term solution. Once you get the confirmation, you're gonna be okay for maybe 20 minutes, and then you're gonna need another confirmation, because here comes the doubt again, and here comes the imagination running riot. So please learn to tell yourself, I've done what I can. I can't do any more right now. It's not in my hands. The ball's in their court, their move, and I will wait. You gotta wait. And while you're waiting, be occupied. All your senses, if possible, be occupied with something else that also needs your attention. Guaranteed there's something else that needs your attention. There's something on a list somewhere that you haven't done yet. And I hope it all works out. It may not work out the way you want it to, but I know it will work out to your best interests. I hope this helped you guys. I love you. I'll catch you again soon.